Captain's Log, Week 4. I find myself slipping away with each passing second as I am forced to witness the deer cult. I feel as if I try to stop watching, someone will come to my door with a gun. I fear for my life, my family's life. I have joined something even worse than Scientology and I can't look away. In deers do we trust. What am I watching? I legitimately think I'm watching the worst thing that's the best thing I've ever witnessed in my life. I think I've said this before, but the more I see of it, the more I'm convinced, like, this has to be the character who's been gaslit the hardest, maybe out of any anime character. Our precious MC, who's just trying to do student council nonsense, just have a normal school life, is legitimately maybe, if she's not number one, she's in a top 5, man. Maybe even a top 3. No one's been gaslit as hard as her, because usually when there's enough people saying you're wrong, you have to just accept the fact that even if you firmly believe your opinion, if the masses are saying otherwise, you just have the unpopular opinion, and very much you could be wrong. This whole world thinks she's in the wrong. A couple episodes back, she had her entire privacy blasted to the school, and was basically told you have to accept your lumps. This deer is Satan. I am 100% convinced we are looking at the Antichrist. This girl opens up her head to hand us herbs. Like, I have so many questions about that. But anytime she tries to go against, and anytime she tries to bond, for some reason these freaking antlers are an aphrodisiac and causes people to be drawn in. And she's left saying, why the hell do I have to pet this bitch? Why do I have to go to Deer Club? And I already know, by the time we reach the finish line of this season, she'll probably have a smile. She'll be like, you know, I'm actually kind of enjoying it now. But that's not actually her talking. That's the Stockholm Syndrome. Usually when the character is clearly the opposite of every other character in a show, it's like, oh, they're kind of like this, they have a stick up their ass. No. Like with the MC, I feel myself with a gun pointed to my head, forced to continue. And a part of me questions, is all my enjoyment for this show because I'm in a cult? Or because I legitimately just enjoy it? I don't know, and I think that's half the fun. I have full live reactions over on Patreon, though. If you want to see my mind break in real time, it's going to be over there exclusively. This is a hefty cast of characters. So we get introduced to the student council body. Our girl is president. Vice president is determined to ruin her life, to shut Deer Club down. Please, for the love of God, succeed. We have a secretary and a treasurer. The one is one bad second away from opening up her stomach. I mean, she has issues. The other one was confusing at first because I was like, oh, I thought she was going to be the one who was like secretly trying to shut down the club. And just like, there's no life behind those eyes. And it turns out, she just really wants to be friends with Nokotan. And I don't know why. This is my headcanon. I've said it since I think the first episode, or at least the second episode. It's her antlers. Her antlers are magical. They're an aphrodisiac. I don't know. I mean, let's rewind to like the intro of her coming into the class. Everyone was like going to talk shit about our MC, and then once the antlers started doing their thing, it seemed like everyone was okay with her again, even though they exposed her as a virgin, which apparently was this grave sin. But I like what they're doing with the student body because it's very fun. It's very clear that this Deer Club is going to have far too many members. I mean, we have so many members currently as is that we don't even really have time to show half the characters. I mean, the sister basically just casually is threatening the new wannabe member saying, I already have a messy relationship with my sister, so don't get in the way. And I'm like, at least you know you're toxic and you have a questionable relationship, but what in God's name is wrong with you? But it's the way that, like, you never quite know what's happening. At one point, she pours a mountain of deer crackers on this girl, and she's like acting like it's Christmas morning. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Oh, why? And then the fact that I'm like, okay, well, maybe she just never has been given things in life, so this is like actually a sweet moment. But then our girl tries to give her a freaking cake, and she's like, whatever. It's like, why do people like this deer so much? Even if deer are your favorite animal, even if you're fascinated by this hybrid being of human-deer combo, there's no explanation other than she's magic. And that her antlers are literally, like, it's a cult. She's indoctrinating people. And the people who try to push back get threatened to be taken to court. This is the worst friend group imaginable, man, and I love it. But I have to wonder, like, how far can they push this? Because what they're doing a brilliant job at is that this is a story idea that could have easily been a 4-page manga, where, like, there was just some stupid shit for 4 panels every week, which is what I thought the show was going to be until I realized what they actually want to do. But they're actually building a legitimately, like, school story, which is, like, almost like a parody slaps. It's like if you take one half Gintama and one half Pop Team Epic and then you just cram them together. That's kind of what this show is. But, like, the idea that you're actually building these, like, these stories, these personal relationships, while also just constantly having the MC be the viewer saying, am I high? Like, what's going on? The only explanation about how this show ends is there's one of 2 answers. One, she wakes up from a dream with a needle in her arm, and she's like, damn, that was one crazy trip. Or, this is all actually real for them, and our girl's gonna get so brain rotted to the point that she ends up in a padded room. And somehow this frickin' deer's still gonna pop in. She's gonna Kool-Aid Man through those padded walls and she's never gonna catch a break. This is such a funny show, and I legitimately think is now my new favorite comedy anime. Now, we're only 4 episodes in. I'm gonna wait for the show to properly finish. I gotta make sure I'm not fully indoctrinated into a cult before I make that declaration for sure. But I think we got a new king in town for me. I love it. I love that they're self-aware. In the last episode, they told us to, like, tune back in at episode 8 or 9. This episode, they talk about episode 3 and just, like, the flashback. It's kind of funny because a lot of people were memeing last week about how it kind of looked like she was getting a little rowdy with the deer, and in this episode, they reframe it, and they basically admit that even in universe, they're saying it kind of looked like she was, you know, the deer was taking back shots, if you catch my drift. By the time the show's over, if I survive this season, and they give me a season 2, there's gonna be nothing left of me. I'll just completely be fried. But brilliant. Maybe I'm saying that because I'm a part of a cult. Maybe I'm saying that because it's a legitimately good anime. I can't say for sure anymore. All I know is I'll see you next week. So, thoughts down below, and be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon. And hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alrighty, so today we got Brian, Emil Edberg, and we also have Azov Montgomery. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care. And I guess just avoid deer. I'm not trusting the deer for probably the next few years after this freaking show. Have a good one.